And I said, I was like, we just need someone that everyone likes and is good enough to like hold this whole episode by themselves, and that no one would be disappointed in the fact that it's not the regular cast. And I was like, somebody like Bradley Cooper.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Bloomberg, writing for movies in Sweden.
Yes,
Nice.
I remember this
Yeah,
movie.
so I finished the entire final season just the day before yesterday, and been loving this one just as much as I have with the other ones that has come before. So I'm sad to see it go, but I do hope that we might return someday in the future for maybe a movie or something. So I'm sure everyone who already enjoys the show will love the final one as well. So that's that. I'm going to hold this interview back until the first episode has aired because I want to ask specifically about Bradley Cooper in that one. A
Okay.
big spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. So I will hold that. But I just
Okay.
wanted to know how that idea came around, doing this prequel thing, and also landing him in that major part of the episode.
Yeah. Well, we always had played around with this sense of like, these interludes where we kind of get a little piece of time. And so it felt fitting that going into this last season, that maybe we would like show an even deeper, cut of the story of,
Yeah.
how this family like kind of like got into religion in the first place. And so, I grew up in a southern town, Fredericksburg, Virginia, where a ton of Civil War stuff happened. And I would find like Civil War bullets in my backyard when I was a kid. And so I've always been fascinated by that war. And maybe it's just because I grew up in that area and kind of would see it. I would see my town and my neighborhood in like pictures, that were from the 1800s. And so it just always kind of fascinated me. And yeah, I think I actually got the idea for it during the third season. I remember I was like driving home from work, and I just had this idea about a chaplain, the guy lying about being a chaplain in the Civil War and like giving people their death rights and not really being good at it. I don't know. It's just that image kind of came to me, and I went home that day and I wrote the first 15 pages of that episode. I just sat down and just kind of spit it out real quick, and I wasn't sure what would ever happen with it. And when we started this season and I kind of pulled it out, I wasn't sure if it would be maybe just the cold open or and just kind of give you a glimpse of it. But then the one we kind of started writing on it, I kind of wanted it just to be an entire episode. I liked the world. I thought it was interesting. And so we wrote it, and I was kind of apprehensive if HBO would go for it, and all the things. If people were, you're starting a season with none of the characters that are in the show, and but it seemed like it was fun, and so then it became the point of like who do we cast in this, and I think literally I was sitting in a meeting with some of the other producers, and I was like, we just need someone that everyone likes and is good enough to like hold this whole episode by themselves, and that no one would be disappointed in the fact that it's not the regular cast. And I was like, somebody like Bradley Cooper. And and then it was just like, well, why don't we ask him? And it was like, all right, well, yeah, why not? And so I don't think it was a lot like the casting of John Goodman. I didn't think we had a shot to get John Goodman in the show. And then we tried and we got him, and the same held true for Bradley. I sent him the script and he got back to me like pretty quickly and was just like, yeah, man, I want to do this. And what was kind of cool is he had never even seen Gemstones before. And then once he got casted, he said he didn't want to watch it until the show was done because he didn't want to be influenced by it. He really wanted it to be its own thing. And I thought it was kind of impressive about how much he felt like a gemstone.
Yeah.
He felt like a gemstone without having any of that other knowledge. And honestly, it was a dream. I mean, we shot that episode in just a little under 10 days, and it was hard, and it was ambitious. We had a lot going on, and we definitely would not have been able to pull it off without him and how dedicated and just awesome he was to work with. I mean, I would get to set, he'd be in his wardrobe, he would never go to his trailer, and he would just sit there all day long, just being in it, and it was awesome. That was the attitude we needed to pull something like this off.
Yeah, and I loved it. I just, that's one of the things I love with your shows in general. never knowing what to expect, and that's not what I expected at all from the opening. So for my final question, since we only have less than 2 minutes left now, I just want to hear you guys what you feel about like sending a character off like you're doing now, how that feeling is when you know the end is coming.
Oh man, I think the end is it's never easy, especially when you really enjoy what you're doing. But there is a sense of like honoring something when you get to sort of end it, and then a lot of gratitude for getting to have lived it. Nothing goes away anymore, right? So these characters will always be at our fingertips. The sad part, I think, is personally not getting to play with your friends anymore, but grateful that it happened.
Yeah, and you, Danny?
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know, it's like we created something, and there's a beauty in finality, I think. There's a beauty in like something being over, and then it can be appreciated as a whole.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's like the personal stuff is like what's the hardest, I think. It's like, you know, like Cassie said, I took it for granted that I would see these people every year and get to hang out with them and see them and work with them. But through that, some beautiful friendships have emerged. And so I have a feeling it will not be the last time.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope so, and I do hope that you keep creating great shows like you have always done. And I've said this every time we speak, that I really appreciate the fact that you don't write seasons that end with cliffhangers, contain stories. So I just want to keep telling you that, so you always do that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it too.
Yeah. So thanks a lot for taking your time to speak with me today, and best of luck with the premiere of this final season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I think she's 32 years old or 33 years old. And she was also Ross's monkey on Friends.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Jonathan Bloomberg, writing for movies in Sweden.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So I finished the entire final season just the day before yesterday.
Oh,
So
cool.
I've seen everything now. And I've just loved all of the seasons that we've gotten so far. And I've thought that this was a great way to wrap it up. And so happy that we got to go on this journey. So I wanted to start out by asking you how this all these years playing these characters felt, and knowing that this was the way you were going to send them off.
It was bittersweet knowing that it was, probably the end. But I think that each season we felt like we were kind of making them more and more three-dimensional and, fuller. It's sad to leave them, but at the same time, we've explored so much and they feel like such complete people and part of us that, I think we know their story is continuing. We just won't see it anymore.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to say it. I love the show so much, and I love being Judy so much that I think kind of she'll always be in me. And I feel like the world that was created with the show, I do feel like what Tim was just saying, it's still happening. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point way down the line we go back in that world. But I think that world is in a different dimension still existing. But it was incredible to get to do this for 4 seasons, and incredibly bittersweet for it to end. But I felt so good creatively about what we did, and I felt like we stuck the landing in a cool way.
Yeah, and I was going to ask if you would be open to maybe coming back doing a movie sometime down the line. But from what I'm hearing, that would definitely be something you would be down for.
I would so
Yeah.
be down for that.
I think everyone would.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. So there's hope, at least, for a future. I also wanted to ask, not to spoil too much, but there is a monkey involved for your part of the story this
Yes,
time
there
around.
is.
And she or he
She,
seemed very
please.
she yeah
Yes.
seemed very well behaved on the show. But how was it actually working with the monkey on set between the takes and everything?
Well, there were two monkeys actually. One was really good at fetching things and bringing them back, and another was really good at just staring.
Yeah. So one is, I didn't have any idea of this. I don't know if you did, Tim, but monkeys have that type of monkey. I can't ever remember if you say it capuchin or capuchin, but it's one of those monkeys. And their lifespan is so beyond what I thought it was. So the older monkey who was good at staying still for shots, her name was Katie. I think she's 32 years old or 33 years old. And she was also Ross's monkey on Friends. And then, yeah. And then this young monkey, Allie, they like to use her for like anything wild. And yeah, it was really, really cool. But also sort of, I don't know, a weird feeling because every day I wanted to leave with her in my car.
They also like Allie moved so quickly that the first few times that you're around them, they like there's this kind of like live wire feeling around them, right?
Totally.
You don't know where they're going to go. You don't know if they're going to perfectly follow directions. Allie was a little mischievous too.
Yeah, Allie was mischievous, and that's part of why she's good for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that she would just jump on you and it's light as a feather and it's almost like you're looking at something supernatural because it's I wanted so badly to pet her and hold her and the trainer wouldn't let us because I guess she only has to that can be their only boss.
Yeah.
Some kind of animal training.
I see, yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to steal her from him.
Yeah, and it's cool, like the fact that one of them were Ross's monkey. It means that the monkey had been acting for over like 30 years, so it's
it's
a veteran.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, and the fact that there is a need for a monkey on the show, we might not spoil for the viewers, but you had some really intense scenes, Tim. So how was it to kind of shoot those for you prior to the monkey?
Very physically demanding. I trained for a couple months to learn pole dancing. I'm still injured from it right now, to be honest.
Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's the hardest thing. I grew up playing sports. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And luckily, the woman who trained us had a studio in Charleston where we were filming, and she's like the head of the federation, the U.S. Federation for Aerial Fitness and Pole Dancing. So we had the best trainers for it, but it didn't make it any easier.
No, and I can vouch for what Tim's saying. What he did is, in my opinion, incredible and an almost impossible feat. I went to a couple of lessons and legitimately thought I was going to die. And I'm not opposed to exercise and sports. I'm pretty good at a lot of things. I can't believe how hard pole dancing is. I have endless respect for anyone who does it. It's so hard. It's so high impact. It's so skin rippy. Requires so much strength. I don't understand how anyone does it.
Yeah. And also you had some, I don't know if it's trick filmed or how you did this, but you have some stuff going on this season as well with the flying. So
Yeah.
how did you do that? On set?
I think I'm allowed to say, yeah, of course we can't have jetpacks just in the US inside. We're sort of fudging it on the Gemstones in that way. But it was this elaborate setup where we were on wires and had all kinds of rigging and we had also all the things and had to sort of like hopefully look like we were jetpacking.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I thought even when I saw it temp with not all the effects in it, I think it looks really cool. And yeah, the Gemstones would have jetpacks. They would have acquired them from the military or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and finally, I think we're running out of time soon. But also for you, Eddie, just being on stage on those big scenes within the church.
Yeah.
Like how is the energy shooting those?
Oh, it's always so fun, those church days. It's because yeah, you almost get a hit of live performance, which is both Tim and my's background. A lot of our background is improv and live shows and sketch. So yeah, you almost get that vibe in the air, even though it's different because it's extras and things like that.
But they're so excited about
they're
it.
so stoked, and it's a great feeling. And the stage is big, and the room is big, and yeah, it adds a little jolt of a weird magic when we're doing those.
I'm glad to hear that. So thanks
Yeah.
for taking the time to speak with me today, and best of luck with the premiere of this final season.
Oh, thanks so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Why are there so many stairs everywhere? Sort of just being mad all the time. But when I was hit by my cement truck, I didn't fall in a pole dancing accident, unfortunately. But also, I think I had maybe just as funny of an injury, was hit by a cement truck. So,
Yeah, so I am Jonathan Bloomberg, writing for Movie Scene in Sweden.
hello, hello.
Hey, man.
Hi. So I finished watching the final season just the day before yesterday, so I've seen everything, and loved this final season just as I have with the previous ones as well. And I must say that it's the arc of your two characters throughout all of these seasons that I kind of like the most, actually, and
too.
and especially on this season. So I wanted to start out there by asking you, kind of going from that first episode in the first season and everything that you get to do until that final episode on this season, without spoiling exactly what happens. How has that journey kind of been to go on together?
I mean, for me, it's just like it's the dream, really. I couldn't imagine a better arc or story for these two characters. It's so funny. I mean, like, it feels like yesterday we were at that house and we were shooting that first scene, and Danny, originally I was supposed to be like splashing out in the pool, and Danny was like, the lights changed a little bit. I'm going to bring you inside. What do you think about going up on that, that first episode
The
where
inversion
with
table?
the inversion table? And, that was like our first thing we did together. And to go from that to
And
how it ends.
Look at what we've become.
Look at what we did.
Yeah, well, it was cool just as an actor to play someone that has this kind of secret, and maybe they don't even know that about themselves, and to have that come out through the seasons was pretty cool. Very fun to play.
Yeah, and I do think that you've done it really well as well. I think people at home can kind of find themselves in that in a way that is not portrayed much on television, especially not in a like a crazy show like this is at times, because you do get to do some really crazy stuff as well, but with these kind of really touching moments
Yeah, it was cool to
every now
be,
and then.
like you said, to be in this such a show where you get to do like the Muscle Men and the Smut Busters, and this year we're doing Prism and all these kind of outlandish side quests, but at the root of it is about this couple who are deeply closeted in a mega church and have this religious background, which I think there's a lot of people out there that are religious, but then maybe are secretly, closeted, and they are afraid to come out what people might say. And I think it's kind of fun and cool to play these characters that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah. And I apologize if this is too close to the heart, but I know, Adam, like you went through some really bad stuff with your health many years ago, and there is a character this season that kind of goes through something similar during the show, and I was just wondering if you like lent a hand in like how he could portray that during this season, or if you were just like, no, that's in my past now.
No, I didn't really give Tim any pointers when it came to being in a wheelchair. but I think he nailed it. Just sort of feeling like, hey, why are there so many stairs everywhere? Sort of just being mad all the time. But when I was hit by my cement truck, I didn't fall in a pole dancing accident, unfortunately. But also, I think I had maybe just as funny of an injury, was hit by a cement truck. So I didn't give him any pointers. No.
It is funny though, like all three of us. Like I had a shoulder injury during the season. You were going through physical stuff, and then like Tim, like 2 weeks in, hurt himself pole dancing. We were all like, "All right, we're all in our 40s
I
now.
know,
We're
dude.
all
We immediately
might
all
as well
got hurt.
just die now."
Yeah, for real.
I spoke with him just before this, and I thought that was all for show, but he said that he actually did get hurt as well. So
I mean, it
method
wasn't
acting.
funny because he actually is still hurt. I was just talking with him about it, but it was funny how serious he was taking the pole dancing, because he was like, he wanted to be great at it and actually nail it, which of course, you want to do the best you can. But then like the next time I saw him, he's like, I really hurt myself. I'm like, oh man.
I know, we were so bummed because we all love to golf together out there, and that kind of nixed that plan.
Yeah. No golfing.
Yeah. So we only have a few seconds left, but working with Danny, one word, how is it to work with him?
Incredible.
A blast.
Yeah.
No, a blast is one word.
Is it?
Yep, I'll put it together.
I'll take it. So thanks a lot for taking the time to speak with me today, and best of luck with the premiere now.
You're missing out, man. You're missing out.
Yeah, I can.
You don't have God, man. Just kidding.
Hi guys, I'm Jonathan Bloomsberg, writing for Movie Scene in Sweden.
Yeah, like your Tarantino poster, man.
Thank you, and I'm waiting for the next season of that too.
Right on.
Invisible. Yeah. So I've seen the first 7 episodes of this season, and loving it just as much as I've done with the previous. So I'm eagerly awaiting to get my hands on the final episodes as well. I wanted to start with saying that my grandfather was actually a pastor for his all of his life. So I've been watching this show with like kind of those eyes in mind. We don't have these kind of pastors in Sweden though that you guys have over there. But
you're missing out, man. You're missing out.
Yeah, I
you don't have God, man. Just kidding.
I remember sitting there watching him when I was a child, and now watching you guys do your thing over there, drawing some comparisons. So how has it been like portraying these guys on this show? Because it's bananas, but there are some moments of true, you do really deep things as well. I feel like.
I'm so indebted to our writers for creating these situations because they're so fun and so interesting. And it's just such a pleasure to go to work every day on this show, even though you know you're going to be there for 14 or 15 hours and it's a grind. And but when it's time to be in front of the camera, it's everybody is on their game, and it's just fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I agree with John that it's just a privilege really to be to play in a world in which you can be this outlandish, to keep it in the frame, and then it all lands and it all kind of means something. And that's what these guys do, and that's what we try to do for them, and we have a good time doing it. I think we're some of the luckiest people kind of working right now. It's a very cool world to play in.
Yeah, I actually spoke with you when prior to Deep State being released, and you had just shot this season and we hadn't seen it yet, and you were describing the set like vice principal too, like every time you're on a Danny McBride set you can't stop laughing, and that kind of shows. I feel like because I can't imagine trying to keep a straight face and during those dinner scenes, for example.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, John. I mean, John's done. I mean, I don't do that many dinner scenes. I mean, it's all that, really. I mean, they're all so funny. And I wonder if you just what an episode of this show would look like if you really cut it to exactly what's going on with the actors and their reactions to it, are trying things, right? Like just like doing a take 3 different ways and getting. I mean, that would be awesome, dude. I would watch that.
Yeah,
I would watch that too, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have people that like to do a lot of improvisation, and they usually turn the last couple of takes over to do anything you want. And that's where people can't keep a straight face or just kind of go crazy. It's fun. And some of it's useful.
You need a couple of decades practice to keep a straight face in that room.
Yeah.
Bill, when Bill Murray gave me like a piece of advice, it really wasn't. It was a criticism. I was working with him, and I said, after spending 3 days messing up all of his takes because I just looked at him and started laughing, and I said, Bill, how do you do what you do, man? Like, really, how do you do what you do? I was almost laughing, like just asking that question. And he looked at me and said, well, I usually start by not fucking up other people's takes, by not laughing during their takes. That's really the beginning of my process,
Sound advice.
Yeah. Well, it's always a blast, and as I said, I'm eagerly awaiting the final episodes, and I'm sure everyone else will love what I've already seen. So best of luck with the premiere, and thanks for taking your time to speak with me today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.